big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. Go to their website, skipsandbins.com, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, or telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Go to their website, mrvickies.co.uk, email info@mrvickies.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to United Group Travel. Go to their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email info@unitedgrouptravel.com, or phone 01670 632 460, or mobile 0791 666 4174. They're a local company from Morpeth, and there are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. Big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the video side of things. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button under the video. Click the thumb up to like the video and click share to share to your social media. If you want to help the channel financially, you can pay a one-off £25 fee. You get a cup, a scarf, a pen and a membership card and entry into the NUFC Matters monthly draw. Email john@nufcmatters.com for more details, or if you've got a smartphone, scan the QR code now and it takes you straight to the membership pack. We also support the food bank on this channel. Go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and you'll find the matchday bucket. You can make a donation virtually today. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify and other podcast providers. We also do events during the year. NUFC Matters Live will be at the O2 City Hall on Friday the 2nd of August for an evening with Rob Lee, one night in Antwerp. Tickets start at £15 and you can get them from ticketmaster.co.uk. An evening with the entertainers takes place on Friday the 24th of January 2025 at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House in Newcastle. Telephone 0844 249 1000 or visit the website tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk to buy tickets today. You can also catch me on the North East Footy Breakfast Show live on Toon Radio weekdays 7 till 9 a.m. on DAB, smart speakers and the toonuk.com.
Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
Good afternoon. Welcome to NUFC Matters Talk of the Toon with me and Sid. Rob will be joining us halfway through the show. Hiya, Sid.
How are you doing?
All good, mate. Internet issues at this end, so bear with us if I dip off. You might just have to hold the fort yourself. But we've got the show started all right. I do have a music question, which I'll come to in a little while, from Tim. Tim, one of our regular viewers, inboxed me and asked me if I could ask you a question. So I'm going to ask that later on. But let's just look back at that game at the weekend. 70 minutes of substandard football followed by 20 minutes of euphoria. It's probably the best way to describe it, Sid, from my perspective.
Yeah, it was just bonkers, wasn't it? It was amazing. It really was, because I remember the lad I sit next to, Stephen, and when I went 3-1 down, I said, well, that's that. I said, we might scrape a draw, but I don't see it. I said, we're going to have to score within the next 10 minutes to get something out of it. And it took obviously longer than that. And we've all seen the whole spooky aspect of all the goals being parallel to the 97 game against Leicester, which up to that point was the most exciting game I can recall, in terms of comebacks. So Shearer's 13-minute hat-trick. It was just incredible. But it was on a par with it. It really was. It's very rare you go away from a game where you're absolutely buzzing and the whole ground was bouncing coming out. The town was electric on Saturday. It really was. But it was such a strange game. I mean, first of all, you don't expect to score so early, and it took forever with that ridiculous VAR decision. And I keep saying it, and I'll say it forever, I suspect, is that if it's a VAR decision, 1 minute, and you go with the referee's decision, and if that decision goes against you, so be it, and you go along with it and you accept it. And if it goes fair, great. It's just look at the draw. But I think it was something like 3.5 minutes or something ridiculous. We're all sitting there when nobody knew what was going on, didn't understand. And obviously the commentator comes on and we'll look for offside now. And he looked offside, actually. I still don't understand how it was given. But there you have it. Ice cool goal by Isaac. Magic. Really, really great. He's just so cool. And then their equaliser, which was coming. Let's be fair, it was coming. And the big lad up Wilson's bullied him. He really did. He just bullied the team. He was causing all sorts of problems. Then the second one was a bit of a joke, in my opinion. I thought if he's holding his face, don't get us wrong, it was soft, wasn't it? But even if it's soft, he's holding his face. Therefore, the referee should stop the game. And I forgot what his name was. Dermot, what's his name? Terrible referee. The guy on Sky, and even he was coming out and saying it was Dermot Gallagher, better than that bloody Riley fella who's on there. You're getting them mixed up. But even Gallagher was saying it should have been stopped, and he's right. It should have been stopped. And of course, they went through and scored. Dubravka, I'm sorry, but his hands made of butter. It was just unbelievable. It was straight at him. It was a little dive to the right, and he parried it in, and it wasn't that hard a shot. And I said at the time he should have saved it. It was such bad goalkeeping. Then obviously, and the third was just as blooming frustrating to begin the second half, because we were up the other end. And I said to the lad next to us, I said, why have they got nobody on the halfway line? Why don't you put a speed merchant on the halfway line in case there's a counter attack? And of course, it's exactly what they did. And they went up and ran in and scored straight down the middle, straight in and a goal, good goal. And then there was another free kick, another corner later on. And if this time they had Jacob Murphy on the halfway line, you think, well, it's a bit late now. The horse is bolted, as it were. But, the changes changed everything. And it changed the whole game. Obviously massively unlucky with injuries. I feel heartily sorry for Lascelles. There's a chance that we'll never see him play again, and we'll be paying for a whole year's wages. His agent must be rubbing his hands. He's just literally got him signed 2 weeks ago. He must be getting cigars out and sticking his feet up. But don't get us wrong. Lascelles has been a magnificent servant, and I hope he makes a speedy recovery. It's just sad to see. It really is sad to see. And for him to play on and then come back on, and we were laughing because we were all going, well, I made the comment, he could be seriously injured. I said it'll be like Stuart Pearce when he was walked off with a broken leg. And sure enough, it's not a million miles away that he'd actually done his knee and casually walked off the pitch. It shows you the bravery of the lad and the strength of him, but folly of coming back on and playing, because I know when I did mine in and I went in goal afterwards, and I got bloody lambasted off some idiot who was giving us a load of grief because the ball kept flying past us because I couldn't move. But that's another issue. You can tell I'm still annoyed by it, but there you have it. But felt sorry for him. Then Livramento is another one. You think, oh Christ! And then what's the lad who came on again? The Swedish lad.
Yeah, we had Kraft come on.
Came on, and he's normally good. He's been really terrific under Hound. It was his worst performance probably since the Bruce era. Not helped by the fact that they all moved in terms of the defence, which Eddie Howe, to be fair to him, has come on and admitted that he made a mistake. So, hey, fair dues to him, I like that. He's been big enough to hold his hands up, so fair enough. And then
he got it wrong. He got it wrong, and he held his hands up, and that was the most important thing.
He absolutely did, and fair dues. We all make mistakes, so as long as you're big enough to accept it and take it on the chin, then nobody's going to sort of lambast you for it. You'd hope not. But then, brilliant. The subs were just superb. Hall was like a revelation. We haven't seen a left back like that in years. just got the ball, defended really well, which has to be his priority. Yes, people might love the fact he goes forward, but the word is defender. So he defended really, really well. He read the game really well, nipped the ball off players' feet. I forgot the guy he was up against, but the guy had a really good game up to that point, and Cole came on and just nullified him. I thought he was just fantastic going forward. I thought, obviously, Harvey Barnes, those goals, superb. He's one of the best finishers I've seen at the club. He's brilliant with both feet. He hasn't had a good game yet where he started. So it's up to him to sort of change that now. And we don't want him to turn into David Fairclough and be like a super sub. But he was magnificent. But the other one I want a massive shout out was Elliot Anderson. I thought was just fantastic. I thought he was top draw. Just got the ball, held it up, out-muscled man. I think he won 6 out of 8 duels, whereas I think Sean won 2. He's passing. He was passing forward all of the time. He did some lovely little slide passes through as well. He's got real vision. He, for me, can be a top player. And I might be biased because he was in the same year group as my eldest daughter. So, you have a bit of home bias in that, But hey, good luck to him. He looks a proper player. Holds the ball. His first touch is great, and it's not like some players that we have where it bounces off them and the second touch is a tackle. It's a really good touch. I thought there was some poor performance as well. I thought Willett was terrible. That's possibly the worst I've seen him play. He just let the guys stroll past him a couple of times. It was really disappointing. I thought Longstaff was all right to a point. Bruno was very good. And Isaac and Gordon were just terrific. Absolutely terrific. I thought both pens were pens. People can moan on as much as they like, saying that the second Gordon one was a soft pen. But if somebody kicks you in the back of the leg, in the box, irrespective, then it's a penalty, it's a foul. Irrespective if he's nowhere near the ball, it doesn't matter. You're still being kicked in the box, so it's a penalty. And when we watched it live, my initial response to the lads was that, I think that's a pen. Don't get us wrong, I'm further away on the east stand, but I'm going, I think that's a pen. And sure enough, it was. The referee was just truly atrocious for both teams. But the other big buzz was the West Ham fans giving it large. And then by the end of the match, the whole reverse situation and the whole of Newcastle standing up and giving it back to the West Ham fans, who took it in good grace in the town later on the night, and they were absolutely fine. So they're decent fans. And just great crack, great match, great banter, superb goals. The fourth goal going in, honestly, it just lifted the roof. It was one of those lovely, rare occasions where it took the roof off, but magnificent. But we shouldn't be having to score 4 goals to win a game at home. Is my caveat. Well, there you have it. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Dubravka. That's why I've highlighted that and kept it on the screen. If you look at Dubravka on the third goal, he moves too far to his left and gave Bowen more than half the goal to shoot into. I mean, a little bit of criticism of Dubravka. I mean, you're saying, were his hands covered in butter or made of butter or whatever, but he's, I mean, do you think Pope would have made a difference in that game?
Massively. I mean, he almost gave the game away at the end, where the ball bounced off their centre forward's chest and went wide. We thought it was in for a second. We were almost doing that. He's just awful. He's not good enough. I'll tell you what it stems back to. It stems back to that World Cup game when he dropped the ball, and I think they conceded 5 in that game, and he's never recovered mentally from that game. He's had a couple of good games. He was outstanding against Blackburn. He was unbelievable. But consistently, week after week, he isn't good enough. And I would start Karius in goal. I really would, until Pope's back. Pope would make a massive difference because you've got a guy who comes off his line, who sweeps up, does a really good job. And the back 4 have got far more faith and trust in him as well. Yes, his kicking's not great, whereas Dubravka's is actually very, very good. But Pope's throwing's excellent. Can I just link this to another point I wanted to make,
Yeah, go
actually,
on.
as well? Because I'm just looking at my note. I've got to make notes, sadly. It's the sort of teacher in me. But is that we've been linked to Ramsdale.
Yeah.
And it's a big no for me. Is he really an upgrade on Pope? He might be if Pope's shoulders have gone, but at the minute he's definitely not. Anybody it's a goalkeeper in particular who admits that they don't have an attention span is got major problems. I mean, you would never have said to David Seaman, "Oh, have you got an attention span?" You know, he would, or Ray Clements, you know, or someone like that. They could go a whole game and then on the 90th minute pull off a world-class save and have done nothing during the whole game. And that's what you've got to be able to do. Jason's ref, by the way, about the ref. So yeah, he's too error prone. He's too error prone. And for me, I'm looking at the guy's name. I love the look of Mamadashvili. He looks fantastic. And also, even more important, we can sing the song to Ma Baker to him as well. You know, which would work out brilliantly. You know? Ma Dashvili. Da, 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 da. That would be great. But he looks class and he's good with his feet from what I'm looked at as well. So he would be my number one choice. We've never ever, and I said this last week, we've never ever had a world-class goalkeeper. We've had very good goalkeepers, but we've never had a world-class goalkeeper. And Ramsdale's not a world-class goalkeeper. And I would like, England don't have a world-class goalkeeper. And I would like to go and get a world-class goalkeeper. You win by having a world-class goalkeeper. All the best teams win with a world-class goalkeeper. You know, you're going right back to Shilton and Clements. You know, that's why those teams are so great. I mean, Brian Clough once said Shilton saved them 16 points a season or something like that, you know, which is a hell of a lot. I think we'd be 10 points better off with Nick Pope now than where we're at. I really do. I think we'd be 10 points better off and we'd be pushing for Champions League. I think it's that big a difference, you know. And Pope's a very good keeper. He's not a world-class keeper, but he's a very good keeper. Whereas the levels between him and Dubravka, and I didn't think Dubravka and Pope was a massive issue before we bought Pope. I didn't think there'd be that much of a gap, but my God, it's enormous. So yeah, just want to make that point.
I've got to be honest with regards to Ramsdale. It's that interview that he did where he said he's easily distracted. That's what I think a lot of us are judging him on. But you asked the question: is he better than Pope? I think he's equal to Pope. And he's young and he's younger. That's the bonus.
What I will say is what's their goalkeeper called? Is it Aurelio or whatever they call him? Ria's statistics are miles better than Ramsdale's, and people have been having a go at him, but his stats are great. He's better at crosses. He's better with his feet. He's better at distribution, better shot stopper. So on all of the sort of stats, on the key stats, he's way ahead of him. Yeah. So therefore, why would you buy a goalkeeper who's the second choice goalkeeper for another club? I don't understand that. It's not for me. Like, and I don't want to be seeing the words linked as a part deal for Isak either. You certainly don't sell a player to a rival club. I'm hoping our days of doing that are gone. If we have to sell Isak, and I'd rather sell anybody above Isak at the club, then he would go to a foreign club and he'd go to Real Madrid or whoever it may be, rather than Arsenal or any other rival. You know, I don't see the point of doing that. What's the point of strengthening the team? Mike Cooper.
Yeah.
Mike Cooper. Terrible. He came back 3 stone overweight, didn't he? 3 stone. Can you imagine that? My God, that must take some going to be put 3 stone on. Don't get us wrong, we can all have a good go at it. But
couple of good buffets, that's for certain. You know, I mean, the rumours are flying around. Social media is to blame for that. I've seen one story which I highlighted to the lads who I do the breakfast show with this morning about Pope, you know, potentially not being back for the rest of the season. Then other reports saying that he would be back by the end of this month. I've seen reports suggesting that Isak could be out tonight, and that could be the mystery injury that some people in the chat are talking about. Of other people saying that there's no problem with Isak.
He looked great the other day. He wasn't hobbling or anything at the end of the game. Shea Given wasn't world class. He was very good, but he wasn't world class. At the time, world class keepers you're talking in Shea Given's era, you had David Seaman was world class, you had Cech was world class, and you had Schmeichel. And all of those could. And when you talk world class, would they make a world class squad? Those players during their eras would have made world class squads. Shea Given would never make a world class squad. Top keeper, but not world class. And he never came off his line. So that's my opinion. And obviously, you're entitled to your views.
A lot of these goalkeepers, of course, if you combine them, they would make the perfect goalkeeper. They've all got flaws. Stephen says, "Hey lads, just had the biggest surprise ever. Just had a cardboard box of vinyl albums dropped off from a relative with my favourite Stranger in Town Bob Seger album back with me since 1987. That's very good, mate. Tim, I will come to your question. He says, could you ask Sid me question from last week? He says, and he just wants to suggest a must-read book, Life by Keith Richards, autobiography. I will give you his question, which I've got on my phone here. Hi, Steve. Good laugh last night, letting your hair down. So this was obviously after the fans forum.
All right.
Enjoying the streams with Sid. I've got a deep question for the both of you for next week's show. When you watch artists in the early days, then reflect what they eventually create. For example, recently watched a concert by Queen around the time of Seven Seas of Rye, 1973. Then 2 years later, a masterpiece in Bohemian Rhapsody, stored in the head somewhere, and music that changes the world. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. So his question, I guess, is when you watch artists in the early days and then reflect what they eventually create, I guess, did you expect them to be the band that came up with something like Bohemian Rhapsody?
All right. Okay. So
Queen, for example.
Queen, you might, because Queen, Queen 1 and 2 are brilliant, and I've got a signed copy of Sheer Heart Attack upstairs on my wall, the third album. But Queen possibly, because they were doing all that harmony stuff. But then you look at some artists, U2, for example. I would never have expected them to do Achtung Baby. I love Boy, I love October, I love War. And I would never see them suddenly going off into a dance area and something a little bit really sort of taking such a big chance. So, no, and it's great. I love all that when band or Radiohead, when bands go off and do something really sort of 90 degrees sudden turn and do something really different. You go, whoa, where's that from? The Beach Boys doing Good Vibrations. It's just bonkers, but it's brilliant. So I love that when you hear artists do something so unusual and such a big curve. It's the biggest thrill in music for me when you hear somebody do something so unexpected, rather than trotting out the same sort of album time after time. There's certain bands that I love because they do that. Like I love AC/DC because you know what you're going to get. But then you have certain other bands you think, wow, where's that come from? Where the hell's that come from? So I love it. And there are certain, obviously Bowie's my big thing, the Who, whatever. You never knew what you're going to get with David Bowie from album to album. So I love it when artists take a massive change and they just go from there to suddenly over there. And you go, wow, The Clash, London Calling, where's that come from as an album? It's so different to Clash 1, which was only released, The Clash, which was only released in 77. London Calling comes out in 79, December 79, and it's totally different. So love it, absolutely love stuff like that, and you don't see where they had it. You can't see how they get to that point. Sometimes it's just such a surprise, because certain bands are stuck and can't escape from certain pigeonholes. You go, oh, we're a punk band, and they remain in that sort of groove all the time. Never progress to do something different. So yeah, I love it. There you go. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, I think it does. Interesting, this one from Darren. He says, a hot topic of today, what's your thoughts on the Premier League clubs thinking of ending season tickets as they can make more money from tourists at games? It's not something that, I'll be particularly pleased with if it came into Newcastle, but I can see it happening, Sid, and certainly does happen at other clubs. I
think it's an absolute joke. I think it's a scandal. I love them. Seen them over 30 times. But, my personal view, and I've already said this, I don't think there'll be any more season tickets if they extend St James's Park at the moment. I think they'll all be open to whoever pays the most, you know, in terms of tickets, because that's where the money's at. That's where I see it going, unless we've got a new ground, and then you can cater for amount of season tickets. But if you think about it financially, why would they then take less money on a game-by-game basis for a season ticket? So give somebody half the, you know, when you can double up based on a day-by-day sale. Unfortunately, it's definitely in there, Sparky. Although, but you then lose that sort of core and soul of the club if you lose the fans who've been going week after week, year after year. You know, we've been going over 40 years and others 50, 60, 70 years, George, and all the rest of it, you know. You lose the heart and soul of the club. And you've got to, there's no doubt you've got to be able to cater for new fans coming. You've got to. And you've got to cater for people from around the world. Absolutely. That's why I'm adamant that we should have a new ground, you know. What disappoints me at the moment, going to the match, is you don't see many younger faces because they've been priced out of the match or they can't get a ticket anymore. So it's nearly all old fellas like me, well, middle-aged me, I am, you know, who can't go, and you want to see younger kids go, you know. We want to see younger kids. Like we had the opportunity to go, you know, when we were in our teens, you'd rock up and all the rest of it. I want to see kids get the opportunity to go to the match and see a real range, a diverse range of ages and all the rest of it. So at the minute, though, I think they'll go down the route of no more season tickets and it'll just be whoever pays, I suspect. I could be wrong. I hope I am.
At certain grounds with you know, with this kind of scheme as well, you tend to lose, you know, you lose numbers on your actual attendance, your capacity, because you know, they're taking tickets away from working class, middle class fans, and you know, making corporate areas out of seats that are already there. You know, do you know what I mean? So you can lose the capacity.
I mean, it is, but you've got other things as well. The Spurs fans the other day, well done to them getting up and turning their back on the on the owners because of the fact that they're getting rid of the allowance, their allowances to pensioners now. It's an absolute disgrace. You know, you've been going since a kid. You get to a certain age, you get less money when you're a pensioner. You know, you're not working anymore. You get less money. Oh, I'll tell you what, we're going to charge you the full rate, like it or lump it. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, you know. And we should, you know, it just stinks. It absolutely stinks. It's not right. It's not right at all. And you know, it's just there's got to be prices for everybody, for everyone. For those people who want to pay Hollywood prices and have the full package, absolutely fine. Not a problem with that whatsoever. In fact, all for it. But you've also got to be able to afford those people who can maybe go to the match every now and again as a real treat. Lovely. You know, you've got to be able to afford them. And then your average Joes, you know, who go week in, week out without taking the mick in terms of the price hikes, you know, or whatever it may be, would be the reasonable way to look at it. Unfortunately, I don't see sport doing that at the moment. And that's not just football, of course. So...
question there from Stephen. He said, "We're talking to the Beach Boys. Sid, did you ever listen to the album Holland with Sail on Sailor? Now, it was a big change from the early stuff. And what did you think of Mount Vernon and Fairway Trippy?"
I did. Sail on Sailor is quite a good album. It's I think is that the one with the I get it mixed up now. Is it the one that's like a fork on the front? I'm thinking that's the wrong. Tell me if it is. I think it is, and it's a very good album from about 71, something like that. Really good album. Some of the Beach Boys stuff is terrible in my opinion, but some of the albums are really good.
Right.
I think it's one of the really good ones.
Okay. Phil says the seats in front of me got different people every game. Many are there for the occasion, especially Champions League, rather than to support the team. And P. Davison says there was an embargo on reporters for the presser, so something is happening Be interesting to see what is going on with potentially with the squad. Tim says couldn't get a ticket for Spurs as the club put a load out about £140 on general sale. Scandalous. Was that the club or was that one of these touting sites, Tim? You have to let us know. And
I think the club are denying it, aren't they? The tout site.
Well, it probably was. I would find it hard to believe that the club would. But I hear a lot of complaints from people when there's tickets available that tend to be junior tickets. Lots of people sitting waiting, and there's a junior ticket that comes out. Mark B, Darren Lee, Raheem, and the 18th letter says Roger Cook. And Mark says the golden era of hip hop, Darren. It's dead now with all the face tattooed mumble rappers and auto tune. Rico, who's our resident Everton fan, who pops in, worried about moving into a new stadium with a gate short of 53,000. How much a season ticket will be. And Tom says we've got to keep Pickford busy tonight. We'll come to that in the second half of the show. And Les says, was it not just the standard embargo when the next game presser is done after the previous game due to time issues? Who knows? Not 100% sure on that. But there are a few rumours flying around. Of course, Alexander Isak could be the first striker since Johan Gouffran to score 5 goals in a row at home tonight. There's a little stat for you.
Johan Gouffran.
Johan Gouffran. What a player. What a player. Okay, we're going to have a quick break. Rob's running slightly late. He's going to be here around about 20 past, but we'll have a quick break and we will be back after this. We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today. Okay, and we've also got the end of season due, NUFC Matters Live, which is in aid of Dementia Matters. We've got Super Mac and Gibbo doing a live Q&A at that event. George will be on stage as well. A few of the lads from the Fans Forum will be coming along, and hopefully one or two of the lads who do the other shows. Tickets are a tenner, and the Long Sands will be doing a live acoustic set. You can get your tickets today from nufcmatters.com or newcastlelegends.com. And also an evening with Peter Beardsley, which takes place on the 2nd of June. Tickets are available from nufcmatters.com, newcastlelegends.com, or by going to Voucher. You can get them on there at the price of £19. And don't forget, if you want to send us something, whether it be a lookalike or a tweet of the week for the Amigos, you can join our Facebook page or join our Facebook group and leave your relevant pictures and stuff on there. If you just want to send us some info, get in touch with us on our Facebook page and Facebook group. And at nufc Toon Talk is our Twitter account. Okay, as always, we turn our thoughts to music, and we'll be welcoming Rob after this. Good afternoon, Rob.
Hey, Steve. How you, Sid?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm excellent. You both okay?
All good, mate. All good.
Excellent,
What are you bringing for us this week then, Rob?
Well, I was going to, as discussed, Fear of a Black Planet. I've listened to it a few times. There's 23 songs on it. So this is the one occasion I'm not going to do it this week. And I'm not going to do it song by song, but I'm just going to give it another week to listen to and give a full rundown of it. So I've decided the band, which means fast fashion, is Depeche Mode. Absolutely amazing album. Music for the masses. Also, picture disc remix of the masses. and also the Slipknot Music for the Masses from a turntable. So this is an album, after Black Celebration. This was their sixth studio album. This was 1987, and it obviously was the 101 tour of this album. I had 4 singles on it: Strange Love, Never Let Me Down Again, Behind the Wheel, Little 15. Every song was written by Martin Gore, produced by Depeche Mode and David Bascom. So it opens with Never Let Me Down Again. Absolutely strong opener. This could easily, for me, should have been Behind the Wheel, could have opened this album. So really pounding beat on this one, outstanding synth beat. It's a big statement song. Depeche Mode, they usually end, or used to in the early days, end the shows on this song. It's absolutely amazing. The lyrics, I was listening to it, it's I was 17 at the time when it came out. I'm taking a ride with my best friend. I hope he never lets me down again. And I thought it was about, a couple of guys in the car and that. And you listen to the lyrics, and it means to whatever it want it to mean to at the time for who you are. It's Martin Gore. He'll write songs lyrically, and it'll have whatever meaning is relevant to you at the time. So then you've got The Things You Said. Martin Gore sings this song. It's really slow, low-key songs, very moody, about relationships. The lyrics, again, I heard it from The Things You Said. I heard it from my friends about The Things You Said. It's about rumour spreading, and then it's like, you know me better than that. It's brilliant. It's lyrically, but musically, there's not a lot to it, but lyrically, it's so strong. It's a passionate, personal song, definitely. It's like got a heartbeat sort of backing track to it. It's amazing. It got Strange Love. Now, I used to love this at the time this album came out, and I'm not as keen on it the older I've got. I think the production on the song doesn't sound right. It just sounds a bit tinny, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. The drum heavy, sort of generic Mode song. It's good live. I think it's better live than the studio version. Like I say, I did prefer it more when it was on the 101 tour. That was the 101 date of the tour they'd done. It was the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena. Brilliant documentary. Then you've got Sacred, brilliant song again. Great song, brilliant build-up, sort of like a twangy key effect. Now, if you remember the Football Factories with Mr. Top Geezer, Danny Dyer, it's sort of that music, sort of twangy guitar sort of sound to it. That's what it reminds me of. Very religious song, good middle eight section. It's a top draw song. Again, I think Martin Gore, a lot of songwriters alike, were brought up religiously. Wayne Hussey from The Mission was strict Mormon family. Martin Gore. Depeche Mode sing about religion, sex, and death. That's what they're based on. It's just how it is. Sacred. It's another song about religion and temptations in life. Then you've got Little 15. Again, to me, it's a dark gothy, sort of haunting song. Nice piano, nice soft key arrangements, very well orchestrated. It's simple, very atmospheric, and I really, really like this song. It's very quirky. I was listening to the album again the last few days. I forgot how good it was. They've got Behind the Wheel. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, this song. Wee story, there was my friend James, who I've spoke about in previous shows. We're just massive Depeche Mode fans. We got 101 when it came out in video, and there's a version of this Behind the Wheel. Couldn't find it anywhere, but I managed to track it down, and we were that sort of like possessed with this song. We'd walk along Princess Street Gardens in Edinburgh with an ear each, saying, "We've got that version. I found that version of this song," and it was just one of those moments, a good friendship moment. I think this song was ahead of its time. It's like a tense a tense techno feeling, good dance track. It's perfection. Then you've got I Want You Now, again sung by Martin Gore. Simply song about sex. It's similar to Little 15, sung by Martin Gore. Heavy breathing. It's I Want You Now, Tomorrow Won't Do. About lust taking over. Low key song, very, very good song though. It's just well delivered, and I just love the atmosphere with effects through the back of it. You've got To Have and To Hold, again, sort of a gothy, dark song. I really, really do. The older I'm getting, like the sort of darker stuff, so like from Ultra, songs of faith and devotion, that side of them. And then you've got Nothing. This is my favourite song of all time, Depeche Mode. Steve, I will send you it. Sid, if you've not listened to it, it's absolutely, to me, it's perfection. But just the tempo of the song, everything, the backing vocals, the warmth of the keyboards, everything about it, it's absolutely perfection. It wasn't a single, but there's a great line in it. You didn't know when you woke up today. It's just brilliant. I love it. Then it ends on Pimp. This opened the 101 concert. Yeah, if you can see on the screen just now, that was at the Rose Bowl Stadium, Pasadena. It was OMD supported them on that tour. Absolutely brilliant. I think it was one of the first documentaries that was out at the time. It just followed them, and a group of fans followed them around the States, and it got filmed for these fans now work for Depeche Mode. A couple of them sell art for Dave and Martin. But yeah, it's a brilliant story. So this is Pimp. It's, like I say, opened these tours at this time for them. It's dark, sort of musical instrumental song, big build up, very tense. I think it's experimental and very intense. It's got like a tense choir with the fear of dread in it. It just sounds bizarre ending an album using these words, but it's just a piece of music. It's very dark. It's a dark album, but there's some absolute stonking songs on it. But Nothing, Behind the Wheel, Never Let Me Down Again, Strange Love, Sacred, absolutely brilliant. It's 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely love it to bits. So yeah.
The album you didn't want to review?
Yeah, it was quite a hard choice to choose that one for you, Steve.
Very good. Easter just been and gone. So an Easter kind of album there. Fantastic, mate. He has risen. Yes. Wonderful. Musical songs and stories. Sid, what have you got for us this week?
I was just going to say I love Songs of Faith and Devotion is my favourite by them. I saw them in January this year. They were great. Superb. Just fantastic band. So I've got the albums mixed up before as well. Somebody mentioned the Beach Boys. I will go back and listen to that because I was thinking of Surf's Up, which is my favourite Beach Boys album, which I love actually. So I've gone with Portishead's Dummy. I was almost tempted to go with the third one, which is a great album actually. The third one's class. But Portishead Dummy is just a great groundbreaking album. In '94, it was along with Massive Attack, Tricky, all those guys from Bristol. It was the sort of new sort of trip hop genre that hadn't existed before. So it really is sort of genre defining. It's just brilliant. The production's magnificent on it. I'm just going to whiz through it very, very quickly. I'll not do every song or anything, but you got, the brilliance of Jeff Barrow on drums. So when you hear it, you think, oh, they've used loads of samples. It's not. It's just him doing all these drum breaks and doing all the extra bits all live at the same time. His drumming is otherworldly. It's amazing. Her voice, Beth Gibbons, haunting, gothic, dark, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful, catchy and creepy at the same time. I absolutely love her voice and good guitar playing as well. Adrian Utley and all the rest of it, and his sampling's just superb. It's unsettling, is the way I would describe it. The samples are great, some great songs on it. I mean, I'm sure most people have heard it, but go and check it out if you haven't. And this is the whole purpose of my quick review here. Listen to songs like Glory Box, Sour Times, Numb's great. There's a real John Barry feel to Portishead as well. You've got that big, picturesque sort of sound going on. It's almost soundscapes at times. It really is just breathtaking. Glory Box, which is a sample of Rap, I think it's Rap 2 by Isaac Hayes, which of course Tricky also had a hit with as well. That's so well sampled as well. It's such a great album, such a great sound. They're a superb band, 3 albums, as well as some live thing that they did. They should have done more because they are a truly fantastic band, and every album is excellent. You can't go wrong with just picking any one of the 3 randomly. They're a top draw band. And as I say, I was never a big Britpop fan. I liked Supergrass and that. The rest I could sort of take or leave. But at the time, these were the other band that I got into and just thought were just great. These and Massive Attack, just loved them. So yeah, top stuff. So Portishead. Hook-wise, yeah. Oh, sorry. Can I just go back for a second with Portishead? It's on my greatest debuts album show as well. So we did a greatest debut show. That's the one, and it works out. There's me and my guy, friend called Peter, were on it. So between us, we ended up with about 35 different greatest debut albums. So there's quite a mix. Spoiler: I give the Pretenders at number one, but there's a real diverse mix on there. As you can see, we've got Dexys and Iron Maiden and Pistols and all the rest of it, Roxy. So there's a range of styles on there. Book. As it was Easter, I went with the well-known the well-known kids story. For those of you who've got children or grandchildren, you cannot go wrong with the religious analogy. It's basically the Christ story retold, isn't it, with Aslan? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant kids story. C.S. Lewis. It's basically Aslan is in the role of Christ. Is the retelling of the story, but it's a brilliant, brilliant story, really exciting, a real thriller. If you've got kids who are 8, 9, 10, 11, it's that age group, perfect book to get them. In fact, there are 7 books, 5 of them are tremendous. One of them is a sort of side story you can take or leave, and the last one is truly atrocious, where they banish the character of Susan because she didn't believe in it anymore, which is like, wow, that's nuts.
It was the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Prince Caspian.
Silver Sword, Magician's Nephew, Last Battle is the other one. And the Last Battle's truly awful. Absolutely stinks as a book. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But yeah, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, great kids book. If you've got children, grandchildren, fantastic. And it still stands up. Brilliant. There you go.
Great stuff. So are we getting Public Enemy next week, Rob?
Yes, you are. And my
we've lost you. We've lost your audio. We've lost your audio. Have you muted yourself? We can't hear you, mate. You've gone. Your picture's great, but we've got no audio, Rob. No. What's that say?
Squeeze.
Farewell tour. This is like I feel like Lionel Blair. Oh, look at that. Reel to reel. Electrically certified. Right. This is his collector's issue. Right. Okay. So that's a reel to reel. And it's an actual reel from that album Squeeze Farewell Tour. Pier 84, is it? Or 54? New York City, 1985.
Well, I've got a quick Squeeze story. I saw them, and I think it was on the comeback tour in '87. Which,
first comeback tour. Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
What? He's back. He's back. Don't know what you did there, but you're back now.
I saw them on the '87 at the Mayfair, and Jules Holland they'd done an episode of The Tube. I think it was the last episode of The Tube. Was that same night, and I saw them at the Mayfair, and they had Jules Holland on one keyboard and Paul Carrick on the other.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was an incredible concert. I absolutely loved it. One of the great shows I've been to. That, and I've seen Squeeze a number of times, but that was top draw. That was top draw.
Yeah, absolutely standing. But I'm going to go and see him this year, 50th anniversary. Badly Drawn Boys supporting, and so is Boy George.
Where's that at?
The Capitol in Aberdeen. Sorry, last tour, like Lightning Seed supported them. So yeah, they've got decent, and Blondie as well. So they're. I have to tell you one story. I got caught out this morning with my April Fools. I was had an appointment this morning at 9 o'clock, and I was looking. It was XTC site. I went. Somebody posted something. Colin Molden put something on saying, "I'm working with Andy. We're releasing an EP this month." So I text Sharon. I said, "Sharon, please send me this message because that's great. I know Sid likes XTC. Brilliant news." Then I looked at it. Sent 12 hours ago. It was just it caught me a cracker. I thought XTC were getting back together.
Form. If I had to pick one band to reform, it would be them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Great stuff, Rob. As always, thanks for your input. Look forward to the Public Enemy review next week and your bit of memorabilia. But give up the Ghost UK, get yourself onto the socials and follow Rob's band. Until then, see you next week, Rob.
Take care.
Cheers, guys. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Good to have Rob on. We're now going to look ahead to the Everton game. Newcastle United take on Everton tonight. 7:30 kickoff live on TNT Sports. Anthony Gordon, as we know, is suspended. Jamal Lascelles is the latest addition to the injury list, which includes Tonali suspended. Nick Pope, Callum Wilson, Joe Linton, Sven Botman, and Lewis Miley. Kieran Trippier might return to the squad following a 3-game absence. Miguel Almiron, Matt Target aren't expected to feature. No update with regards to fellow injury victim Tino Livramento. As for the referee tonight, well, it's Tony Harrington, a first Magpies game of the season for him. He did do the corresponding home game last season, which was a 1-0 win over the Toffees. Oh, he also did the October 22 game, which was the 1-0 win. Yeah, VAR, Michael Salisbury. Let's hope he's not called into any controversial action tonight. And this has been doing the rounds, actually, over the last few days.
I've seen it, yeah. What 11. That would do really well in the Premier League.
That's your 1 to 11 that potentially can't play tonight. Some of them we know for definite. Others that potentially may, of course, make it. Livramento may make it. Trippier may make it. Lewis Miley, great news on him. The injury isn't as bad. He's definitely going to be back before the end of the season. Yeah, disappointing, isn't it, when you look at that? But we've just got to get on with it. Yeah, we've just got to get on with it. Everton are battling relegation. There's no other way to describe Everton's battle at the moment. Dobbin is missing. Grunwald and Dele Alli still out. Mikhailenko, may return. Sean Dyche's side lost 2-1 at Bournemouth on Saturday.
I don't understand that.
Well, I know he was going through lots of mental issues.
His mental health issues. I thought it was a fitness issue rather than a mental health issue. So,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the last time I saw him, he didn't look great. But yeah, I mean, good luck to him. But he won't be featuring tonight. Sean Dyche's side lost 2-1 at Bournemouth. It's their third straight defeat, extending a winless Premier League run since mid-December of 12 games. Steve Stone will be on the visitors' bench tonight as well. The key thing about these games in recent seasons, I'm saying has been Pickford, mate. Pickford's been the key to these games, whether it's the right Pickford that turns up or not, Sid.
Yeah, the whole dinosaur thing's hilarious, isn't it? I mean, you see the guys running up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure how they get at the ground. I genuinely don't know how they get at the ground. But it's can you imagine rocking up on the bus with the outfit on the metro? But yeah, I mean, Pickford, it was noticeable that the Real Madrid manager, Ancelotti, who's possibly the best in the world, he's certainly in the top 3. He dropped him, didn't he? He dropped him from the Newcastle games because he felt mentally he couldn't cope with the games. And I think it's been proven over time that he can't cope with it. Certainly at our ground, he's not got the mental capacity to cope with it. He's not got the right approach, and that tells me again that's really worrying. If you're an England fan, I mean, I always put Newcastle above England without a shadow of a doubt. But if you're an England fan, then you don't put much faith in a player if he gets wound up by the crowd. Let's be perfectly honest. You can have a bit of banter and, the whole Bruce Groblaw thing and winding up and having a bit of crack. But being wound up to such a point where you hate them, you're thinking, wow, that's just nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And I had no problem, by the way, when we got beat off them and he started giving it back to the fans. Hey, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair dues. You know what I mean? If you give it out, you've got to be able to take it. And that's the way it works. But he seems to be unable to take it. So yeah, they're a horrible team to watch. I mean, they are basically just Burnley 2.0. It's just drab, long ball merchants, horrible, big, physical. Not pleasant to watch guys. It's not my sort of thing. I hope they go down. I'm not ashamed to say so. Not a fan. Don't like them. So, yeah, I hope they go down. Of all the clubs there, I hope they go down. So, yeah, I'd love to see us, beat them.
Yeah. I mean, it depends what team we'll get through tonight, what team we can announce. But, I mean, the battle of the tape, if you like, the tail of the tape suggests Newcastle should win this game tonight. And if they win it and the results go our way, we're right back in contention for European football.
Oh, massively. We must be favourites to be 7th if we win tonight. I think the whole season now rides on this one game. I think we win tonight. That's it. We're riding, we're rocking, and we've got a chance of being sixth even because of Man U's running. We lose tonight, and it's back to square one, and that would sum up the season. That sort of bitty, horrible start, stop sort of season that we've had, and so I don't know. It's just one of those. We've got to win tonight. I think it'll be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be goals in it. I think they're not a great team going forward, but they've got one or two players who are not bad. The guy on the wing, Maxim, what's his name now? He's not a bad player. So I think we'll win. I think it'll be 4-2 is what I'm going for, just because I think our goalkeeper's so bad, and I think defensively we ain't great. That's the way I physically see it. I see it going 4-2. I see Isak scoring unless he's out.
Yeah, I know.
And then if he's out, what do we do going up front? Because that's a real dilemma then. Do you then maybe go Elliot Anderson up front? Or do you stick Harvey Barnes up front? Because we don't then have Gordon either to go up front. Or do they go Jacob Murphy and something mad and just have a speed merchant up front?
Dan Burn. You never know. It's going to be it's going to be interesting. The other games tonight, just for everyone out there: Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth, Palace, Burnley, Wolves, West Ham, Spurs. So Burnley, if they could do us a favour, that would be nice tonight. Yeah. And West Ham, Spurs. Yeah, we want Spurs to win that game. Obviously, tomorrow night, Arsenal take on Luton. Brentford take on Brighton. There's an interesting one, I think, for us all. Man City, Villa. But I think that really is, it's academic for us. Either team winning that one is academic, unless we're going to go on this crazy kind of run and, challenge the Champions League places. You want Man City to win that. And then on Thursday night...
If we win every game from now to the end, Steve, we won't get Champions League. Because I think you're going to need over 70 points, and mathematically we can't get there. So...
Liverpool, Sheffield United Thursday, and Chelsea, Man United on Thursday as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see us beat Man United. We've never reached above Man United yet. So no. I would, to coin a favourite phrase, I'd love it. It would be great. But I think the whole season rides on tonight's game. It's a bold statement, but I think the rest of the season rides on tonight. Win tonight, and I see Newcastle going on a big run. I can see us going unbeaten for the rest of the season. Lose tonight. And it's all draw, and you think, oh, Christ, So we shall see.
I'm going for a 2-1 win to Newcastle. Sid, what are you going for tonight?
I've gone 4-2.
4-2. You think there's going to be goals?
Yeah, I think there'll be goals. I do. I think there'll be goals, providing Isak plays. May I put that little sort of caveat on there? If not, it'll be very tight. Be very tight if Isak's not playing. But I didn't see anything to say that he wouldn't be the other day. He came off the park, happy as Larry, and looked great. He was singing and dancing.
It's it's one of those rumors that's flying around on the old X platforms. We'll wait and see. Black and White, we've talked about this many times on the podcast, and we've come to the end of the show. Is our training methods causing our injury problems? To be honest, the only people that can answer that's the club, mate. Unless you're there.
The big review at the end of the season will tell us, because there's been some unlucky ones as well. Dan Burn and Elliot Anderson were back injuries. I mean, everyone's seen Elliot Anderson did it through weights and stuff. But I'm convinced it was the game where I seen him. He only came on for 10 minutes. He did this jump in the air, landed on his back, and he got up and he was doing all of that for the rest of the game. 2 days later, I said he'd done his back in. That can't be a coincidence.
No, definitely.
So I think we have been dead unlucky, but there are clearly issues. And you have to question why. We've now going to overtake Bournemouth as the record holders for the most days out in the season. That's not coincidental either. So, or if it is, it's a hell of a coincidence. I'm not a huge believer in it. So I want to sort of check out what we need to do. We'll probably need to change our style a little bit. Yeah. So.
Great show as always. Slight international issues for you and for me today. You started to go off into the Ethernet now. Okay. So we're just finishing at the right time. I'm back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock with the fans forum, looking back on the last 2 games with the lads. I am going to do a members only chat as well after that tomorrow night, probably around about 7:15. So if you're a member, you'll get that first. which people keep saying, what can we get for the members only? So I'll have a Q&A with the members tomorrow night. There you go. That's your treat this week. Sid, pleasure, mate. Thanks to Rob as well for joining us. Take care. See you soon, mate.
Take care. Look after yourself. Bye-bye.